Welcome, let's continue and discover step 4 of this amazing audiobook. Step 4. Keep the dog's routine supplied. Physical activity. The fourth step is extremely important in keeping dogs balanced. Of course, for that, the other three previous steps need be clear and aligned. We are now talking about the ideal dog routine, that is, a routine that meets and supplies their basic needs. It's catching up. These activities that we will be able to offer quality of life and will be with the dogs, thus offering everything our friend needs to be happy and healthy. This routine consists of offering physical activity, mental activity, and social activity in the daily lives of our dogs. 1. Physical activity. We are aware of the importance that physical activity has in our lives, and with dogs, it's no different. This type of activity releases hormones that provide greater well-being, making the dog calmer, peaceful, relaxed, with greater physical fitness, in addition to maintaining the health of the animal and day. Despite knowing the importance of including physical activities in the routine, many times we end up leaving it aside. It is very common nowadays due to very restricted environments or due to the intense routine of families, dogs that have a very high level of accumulated energy. It is only by looking at the dog that you realize how euphoric and eager this animal is to release all this accumulation of energy. Accumulation that often ends up generating other types of problems, as dogs do not find healthy ways to drain their energy. Often these forms that they find are not in accordance with what we expect from the dog, such as excessive barking at everything and for everyone, following one's own tail, among other compulsive behaviors. Misbehavior is often a reflection of a routine lacking in activity. On the other hand, dogs that have this type of activity inserted in their daily lives have a very easy learning process. Bigger. They are much more prepared and relaxed to learn everything we want to teach them. Not to mention the increase in metabolism and immunity, making them more resistant to diseases. The level of physical activity you need to offer your dog will vary greatly from dog to dog. Some dogs need a lot of activity, while others need much less. This will depend a lot on size, breed, weight, among other factors that need to be evaluated by a veterinarian. Although one thing is for sure, every dog needs physical activity, some more and some less. So before starting exercises with your dog, take him to a trusted veterinarian for an evaluation and medical advice. This is the same process that we humans need to go through when we are about to start a gym, for example. First, we need an evaluation and authorization to make the necessary exercises. And the dog is no different. 2. Mental activity. Before going into detail about this type of activity, I would like to propose a reflection. How many times do you come home completely exhausted from work, school, or college? Anyway, a day in which you spent hours without doing physical exercises, however, completely focused on spreadsheets, books, or another intellectual activity, such as preparing a meeting agenda or checking a report. You've drained all your energy into something productive and left completely exhausted. It's exactly. That's what a mental activity can do. Of course, physical activity is essential, as we've seen before. However, mental stimulation consumes a large amount of energy. There are studies that prove that 15 minutes of mental exercise equals 40 minutes of physical exercise. Now imagine a dog that stays home alone all day and the only activity he has throughout the day is to feed. Boredom and stress take over this animal. That's why we need to offer mental activity to our dogs, activities in which they need to think, i.e., break your head to solve. The reality is that dogs love this type of challenge. You must have seen that dog that destroys the teddy bear just to get the foam out of it. This is the challenge he finds in that situation. This is highly rewarding and pleasurable for the dog. As long as the dog seeks out these challenges from the teddy bear, great. Now imagine him doing that on your pillow, shoe, or even in the trash can. House. Therefore, having a mental activity routine is essential for our dogs. Stimulating this cognitive part of the dog will allow teaching various commands and behaviors in a much simpler way, as they will handle everything, like challenges and games. What we want is precisely to channel the dog's energy into something productive and healthy. The best opportunity we have to include this in the lives of our dogs is through food. Despite the constant struggle on the part of specialists to disseminate this information, there are many pet owners who are unaware of these techniques and the benefits. Owners often think it's right. Offer the daily portions in bowls and they have pity when the animal needs to work to become to feed. When to deprive the dog must kind of challenge is, in fact, the source of many behavioral problems. There are countless ways to offer food to our dogs in challenging ways. It is through interactive toys, where the dog need to interact with the toy to get the food, through games, such as treasure hunt, where the dog needs to sniff to find food. However, the way I like the most and recommend feeding dogs is through training, where we go using the food itself to teach our dogs new things. Retire your dog feeder. Your dog needs to eat every day, right? At the minimum twice a day, depending on his size and age. But not really the time of food must be a dull moment. Like, you put the feed in the pot in the floor, your dog eats everything quickly, and ready. You've done your duty, you dog is fed. Now it's wait until the next one. Snack. No! Picture me screaming here. You can improve it. The timing of feeding can be something much more fun, so much for him. How much for you? You can establish ties very strong and develop a very strong relationship. Most solid and reliable among you. Rethink your relationship with your dog. Enjoy the meal times for interaction. Positive with it. Create new ideas, always thinking about the safety of your furry friend. If you take advantage of your dog's feeding time to train him, you will raise considerably the level of connection with him, in addition, of course, to having incredible results in behavior. While for your dog this will be the best time of the day, as this is where challenges and interactions take place. Happen. Everything he likes most is happening, you playing with him, the food and the challenges will be the most anticipated moment of the day. 3. Social activity. It consists of offering the opportunity to interact with other individuals of the same and other species. That is, with other dogs, other people, and other animals. Your dog's social life needs to be as intense as yours. Now, close your eyes and imagine what your social routine is like. Imagine all the people you meet on a daily basis and all the places you pass. This does not mean that you will interact with everyone you find, right? But this experience that makes him prepared to be in any environment without excitation and knowing how to behave in a group. Our dogs often don't have that privilege. It is very common nowadays dogs with a very large restriction of this type of activity. If we stop to think about it, it's unfair to demand that our dogs know how to behave around other dogs or people, and they have very little contact with other animals during their lives. Put yourself in your dog's place. Imagine yourself in a private environment, without any kind of interaction. Outside, without cell phones, without magazines, without anything different. Just lying there, with a bed, looking at a side and to the other, waiting for time to pass, waiting only for its owner for a brief interaction. Do you agree with me that the chances of developing some kind of behavior problem are very high? That's why this social routine is so important. When the dog has a rich social routine, that is, supplied, he starts to tolerate it very naturally. Without fear, without fuss, as if that were absolutely normal for him. As indeed it is. The simplest way to supply this social activity is to insert the dog into your routine. Try to take the dog to walk with you, take him to the park, to the mall. Call your friends over for dinner at your house or take your dog along for dinner at your house. Your friends and family. Take it to places that have children, elderly, other dogs. The more the dog can be inserted in society, together with you, better for the welfare of that animal. Well, these are the 4 steps we considered. Infallible for you to have a super polite and obedient dog. Of course, this is a short read, but the aim is to change the way you see and understand your little dog. Situations you might not even know that existed before, you saw here in this reading. And it is absolutely normal for some doubts about how to apply all this information and to facilitate its understanding and application. I want to show you the complete method, where I show step by step in detail and with practical examples like you can apply all this to your home with your dog. Agradezco inmensamente por dedicar ese tiempo para asistir a video.